right here in front of me, drilling it out. So, this week, you guys may notice like sometimes I might miss a show, and then sometimes show pops up, and the reason that is sometimes I get involved with okay, I'm working during the week, like a lot of the people are working during the week, and so I just get caught up into a lot of stuff. I mean, last week had like a doctor's appointment for my annual physical, and I got to talk about this because I'm learning a lot about nutrition, not from my doctor uh, on 19th and Ogden, not from her or the dietitian or any of those people. All they want to do is push their pills. And if you know anything about my history, my blindness was caused when I was 6 years old by doctors giving me pills saying, oh, these pills will help you not have. I had this one-time seizure, breathing spell, and they gave me phenobarbital. And they said, oh, these pills are going to help you not to have that again. And 12 days later, perhaps even 13 days later, this is like during the Christmas holiday, I woke up and I was totally broke out in blisters all over my body as if someone had burnt me from the inside out. And so it scarred up my eyelid. Well, it dried out my eyelids, so when I blinked my eyes, my eyelids would scratch my cornea. Now, I didn't know this at the time, and my mother says, get up, Johnny, we're going back to the hospital. I said, okay, whatever, So I got up and got my bowl of Cheerios, went into the front room, and all the curtains were closed at the time, so I turned on the TV, and I didn't know that the TV seemed a little bit further away, just looking at cartoons, and then my mother finished getting ready, and then we go outside to the car out the back door. And when the light hit my eyes, she says, what's wrong, Johnny? And I said, I can't see. And the light was like blinding. And she said, what do you mean you can't see? You said, in the house you were walking around as if you could see, but in the house all the curtains were closed and it was no light. But it was like being a vampire. I'm thinking about it, I could think about it. It's funny now, but at the time it wasn't funny. I could think like, I'm Count Dracula, and I only stay in the house during the day, and I only come out at night, blah, blah, blah. Because if you ever seen any of those vampire movies, if the vampire gets even a glimpse of light, he freaks out, right? So yeah, I was like a vampire freaking out because that light had hit me so hard, and I had no protection on my cornea. And so, and like I said, it's funny now. You can look back on stuff and you can say, oh, that was funny. But at the time, my mother was very angry because, you take your child to the hospital to get help. And then they give you some pills. And then if you find out later, several days later, these pills burn your son, perfectly normal son, I think it would make any mother angry to see something like that happen to at the time. I think I wasn't the youngest. I had a little brother at the time. So it was just, and I don't even know where he was at the time. Let me think. Yeah, because he was probably 1 year old, and I'm thinking like, where was he during this time? That's the weirdest thing, because I know he wasn't in school. So before I even woke up that morning, and this is the first time I ever thought about this. My dad got up to go to work. He looked over, saw me, bleeding out these blisters, and they made arrangements to have my little brother, who's probably 1 year old at this time, to be washed by somebody. And then my mother said, okay, I'll get him up, and I guess she took care of all that stuff first. Then she got me up, and I got dressed, not knowing what happened. And then, I never thought about where was little Freddie during this time when my mother took me back to the hospital. And of course, I spent like 5 months in the hospital because they had to heal those blisters. So they gave me steroids, and I had went totally blind at the time. And so it was just a very interesting time in my life where everything was changed, because up to that point, I was learning how to write, and my mother said, "How do you learn how to write this stuff?" I said, "I just looked out how other people wrote stuff, and I would write it down." And I was very good at drawing pictures. I could look at, my favorite clown at the time was Blinky the Clown, and I could look at his face and draw his face exactly the way it looked. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, I could have became an artist in that way. I could have did a lot of things that were visual, but that put a stop to it. And sometimes I think like maybe life would have been boring at one point, where I would have been talking like little Bow Wow, saying, "Well, maybe I should off myself." He's 30 years old, got a 6-year-old daughter, and he's saying, "Oh, well, maybe I should, kill myself." And he says, "Because I've done everything." I said, okay, you want to forget about your daughter and you want to go kill yourself? Something like, oh, maybe I would have been bored, maybe having good sight and having a good knowledge of how to draw things, and maybe I would have developed, got successful and got bored and talked like an idiot like Bow Wow, right? Or maybe this little challenge of being blind caused me to have more of a challenge in life rather than things coming so easy for me. You never know, because things happen for a reason. I believe everything happens for a reason. And once again, if you're watching this and you got your phone and you could be listening to my Sunday show, at the same time, I'm playing some of the best in Christian contemporary music. Not only on my website, innervisionrecords.org, 24 hours, 7 days a week, but for 2 hours on Henry Archuleta's radio station, KUHSdenver.com, every Sunday from 1 to 3. I play the best in Christian contemporary music, and you can request a song. Go to 720-324-7278. That's 720-324-7278. I might ask my brother Napoleon, because he remembers a lot about. He was overseas at the time. He was overseas fighting the Vietnam War, so he might not even know what they set up at that time. Or maybe they told my brothers to stay at home and watch Freddie while my mother went to take me to the doctor. So who knows? Because I didn't know what was going on at the time. I just thought it was just another day, but I didn't know that it was a nightmare on my street. I'm sorry about these cliches, man. After the fact, you look back over it and you can laugh at it. I mean, if you can't laugh, what can you do? It's like it happened. Can't change the past. I can only change right now, right here. Can't look back in the past and say, "Oh, I wish that didn't happen." If it happened, it happened. I can only change today. And I tell a lot of people, we don't want to talk about the past. I say, today is the only day that you have control over, and that's even a maybe. Something may happen. How, like in Cobb and over there in the East, and they're going to vote. Some knucklehead scraps on a bomb, and he thinks that he has a right not only to kill you, but kill himself. So he kills about 35 or 40 people, because he thinks, well, hey, this is hijab or hijab or whatever they call it over there. So he thinks that he has a right to not only blow you up, but he has to, just because he's having a bad day, or his political bent they weren't kissing his ass. So, I know I do a Christian contemporary show, but okay. But I get upset when people think that they can, or the guy who got out of his car with his green outfit on, and started shooting his automatic gun at this restaurant. I think this was somewhere in I think it was in Texas, and he kills 4 people, and then God bless it with somebody brave enough to jump on it and say, hey, you might have killed 4 people outside this restaurant, but you're not going to kill anybody else. And that just happened last night. I'm thinking like, okay, you guys, you got your AR-57s, and and I'm not into controlling everybody's gun, because the good guys are not going out and shooting people up. These are the bad guys. And so the liberals think if you take away all the guns, there'll be no more idiots like this. No, they just go to another weapon, like a knife, or they'll go to a car. So what do? Do you ban all the knives because some idiot decides to stab 4 people? Do you ban all cars because some idiot decides that he wants to use his car to mow people down? No, you gotta find the root of the problem. What is the root of the problem? All right. Instead of like putting a Band-Aid on it, saying, "Oh yeah, and don't forget Hitler, before he took over and killed 6 million Jews, he took everybody's gun." Yes. So do we repeat history? Because how's that looking for you now? I think even Stalin took away the guns before he did what he did. 20 million people. Yeah, take away the people's guns, then the government can move in on you and do whatever they want to do with you. No. Taking away the guns is not the solution. And with these little high school baby face kids saying, "Oh, we just take away the guns. Nobody can come into school and shoot us if we take away the guns." Democrats giving them their speaking points. We're not going to let some snotty-nosed teenager tell us what our founding fathers set in force, because they knew that if the government takes away our guns, then the government can turn their guns on us and we'll just be defenseless. Not going to happen here in America. So if you want one of these gun-free zones, get over there to England. There's a gun-free zone for you right there, and see how that works for you. They had the highest murder rate, higher than New York this past month. And what was the weapon of choice? Knives. They don't have any guns. If people are going to kill, and there has to be an underlying thing going on with people who are so aggressive, who are so disregarding of life. What's going on in the society? I know in America in 1962, Madalyn Murray O'Hara, because of her skanky self, got the Bibles taken out of the schools, because her son came home and said, "Mom, they want me to read the Bible because they have a Bible study in the first part of the day." And she said, "Well, let me see about this." And her dad was very religious and was kind of get her to go the right way. And she kept cussing at him and said, "Screw you. If I want to go out and screw a guy, get pregnant, have a baby out of wedlock, that's my business." Right? And so so she was the cause of our getting the Bible out of school. Right? So then it just seemed like America just started going down the drain, just down the drain. Now some people could say, "Oh, it wasn't the Bible."